We were just blessed. I'm speechless. But there's more. It's a joy to be here again with all of you and to be able to celebrate, to recognize and honor the Christ in all of us. Yeah. And as I've said before too, thank yourselves for allowing yourselves to be the light, not only here, but out in the world. So, thank you. You all make a difference. One moment at a time. When I began in Unity back in the mid-'80s, I never dreamed of all the inner healing and all the transformation that was to take place. And I'm sure that some of you, perhaps many of you, could relate. And I'm sure that many of us, we all come from different backgrounds. And when we stepped into a Unity environment, there was something that resonated with us, something that resonated with our soul. And how wonderful that we've had this miraculous experience to be living with a Unity consciousness. And I know many of you here have gone through your life and have had tremendous opportunities to grow and to shine. And I know many of you, and I have seen the miraculous changes that have happened in your lives over the years. And again, from being in this consciousness, being aware of who we are, to be able to shine our light in whatever way it is that shows up for us, how blessed we are. Yeah. And we know that it is through our willingness to remain open to the consistency of these Unity teachings, of all the prayer work and meditation that we do, of the denials and affirmations, classes, possible retreats that we've been on, and the support of our spiritual friends, that all of those have helped to guide us, to encourage us, and to assist us in our divine awakening. And whether we realize it or not, on a soul level, it has always been our divine right and our divine blessing to remember
what I can do is I
our
can figure out
truth.
how to take this off. And
In 2 Timothy it states, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power,
see, mine
love,
has stuff for
and
essential
self-discipline."
terminals. Good night, very weird to you.
And I recall as a young child, one of the first books that I ever purchased,
I did go there, but I
I was
didn't
drawn
see.
to, that my soul was drawn to, was the book entitled The Power of Positive Thinking by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. Some of you are familiar with his writings. Well, years later, I learned that he was actually a Unity minister. My. So that quietly began the journey. I didn't know yet that Unity was going to be a big part of my life. And of course, in that book, he quotes many Bible statements, one being from Philippians, which states, "I can do all things through him who strengthens me." And then from Mark, he states, "All things are possible for one who believes."
Did the panel go away?
Wow. How that resonated with me even at a young age. Again, when truth touches us on a deeper level, we identify with it. And when we are touched by the Spirit of God, that infinite radiant intelligence that we can all tap into at any given time, we receive the power to do the impossible. Can you identify with that? Yeah.
Pull that way. There you go.
There's a story about a young woman 21 years of age,
The other
who
thing is I went
got
over
married,
here
and she had to
to thinking
leave
maybe
her
one of those other
family and her
views
friends
condition, but
and move away across the
so for
country
you, high
to start a
non-video,
whole new life with her
none of
new
those things.
husband. And just
Well,
before she
that's when
left,
people don't have their
her
videos
mother
on. Hide
stated
them
these two words:
and leave only the pictures,
strong.
which is not really what we wanted him.
And as years went on, the young woman often reflected on those two words, and she came to an understanding
You can tell me, or
that there was a deeper message there that was
we
being
can-
given to her.
I think they changed it,
And the
updated.
message was that she was being invited and reminded to be strong in the truth of who she was. That's where her power
See, what
was
used to
and
be
would
there.
be.
Huh?
And to this day, this
Audio?
woman, much older now,
Hey,
often reflects on how significantly those two words have inspired her life as she continues to embrace her personal power and all that she envisions in her life. We know that there is power in the name of truth, and we know that there is power in the name of love. And we know that that power that worked in ancient times through Jesus is the same power that works in each and every one of us. We know that. And even as we go through transformative changes individually and collectively, we always have the power to affect life in a positive way, right? Through compassion, love, kindness, joy. And when we stay strong in the truth of who we are, we will find it easier to stay in our peace and to have faith in that power that works miracles in our lives. And we know that when we tap into God's infinite power, God will do things with our life that we have never imagined. And I'm sure that you all have your stories about that, about those miracles that have happened in your life. And as we trust and believe that all things are possible, it's amazing who and what we attract into our lives, isn't it? Yeah. Charles Fillmore wrote these words, and I quote, "It is the law of spirit that we must be that which we would draw to us. If we would draw to us love, we must be love, be loving and kind. If we would have peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves." In the unity consciousness, we are also invited to trust that all things are working out for the highest and best good, not only for ourselves, but for everyone else also. Prayer is powerful, and we all know that. We know and experience the blessings of prayer often. And what's also true is that if we choose not to pray regularly or sit quietly to listen to that voice within, it's difficult for some people, maybe even impossible, to be who God wants them to be. Think about it. When we are prayed up, it's easy to be open to the possibilities. Yeah. The power to be all that we can be lies in our choice to allow God, Source, infinite intelligence, to express through us as love, peace, joy, compassion. And unity teachings remind us that through the divine in each of us, we discover and develop our true spiritual potential, knowing that God is our strength and our power. In Philippians, we're reminded and invited to place everything in the hands of God and allow for the peace of God to protect our hearts and our minds. It's always an inward blessing to know that as we embrace our divine identity, we move forward confidently, don't we? In all that we think, all that we say, and all that we do. And no matter where we are in our life's journey, as we continue to listen to our inner guidance, we are invited to continue to trust that, yes, we are being led in the right direction. And sometimes trusting that, that's the lesson. Yeah. Our commitment to our soul's growth requires that we live in faith, right? And our faith will help us to experience the joy of our spiritual connection with God, with love, which supports our purpose and meaning in this life. The greatest security that anyone can have is knowing and feeling God's continual, gentle presence and power in our life. That helps us to be strong in the truth of who we are, to live in a state of gratitude, the greatest prayer that we can offer in this life. We are all on adventures in our life, are we not? Yeah. And each adventure serves to enrich our soul. We are each on an individual spiritual quest, whether we are aware of it or not. And the journey of our soul continues to allow us to discover more about God and the presence of that power in our life. And when I think about it, choosing to live in a unity truth consciousness has blessed each of us with redefining our potential in how we show up in life because of our changed awareness. And isn't that powerful? Yeah. It's true that there's a hero inside each of us, and we've heard that. Different speakers sharing those words. We are each a phenomenal spiritual being here to express the divine light, love, wisdom, and power, just as Sal was sharing in his song. Powerful song. Yeah. Each of us is a priceless masterpiece. Think about that. Yeah. And just as an art piece, it really is never finished, but the masterpiece evolves over time, as we are doing so. We just need to remember that we are that masterpiece and pat ourselves on the back every once in a while for remembering that we are this beautiful divine expression here to share our light and our love in the world. There's another story about a 24-year-old boy named Billy seeing from the train's window, and he shouted, "Dad, look at the trees, they're behind." His father just smiled, and yet there were a couple of other people on the train watching the childish behavior of this young man, and they were doing so with noticeable disapproval. And then all of a sudden, Billy exclaims, "Dad, look at the clouds, they're running with us." So the couple that were sitting there, they couldn't take it anymore, and they asked the old man, "Why don't you bring your son to a doctor?" And the old man just smiled, and then he said, "I did, and we are just coming from the hospital. My son was blind from birth, and He just got his eyes today. Powerful story. Yeah. So Billy was filled with these infinite possibilities for experiencing a limitless world of blessings that day, right? Yeah. So as God answers a divine call, Billy was expressing the greatness of his soul, open to life's new and empowered experiences and opportunities. So where in your life have you been blessed by a sacred experience that provided you new awarenesses that empowered your soul? No matter what transpires in your life, know that as you stay strong in the truth of who you are, that one power and presence sustains and upholds you in all conditions and situations. And so let us affirm together these words of power. I am filled with infinite possibilities for good. Together, I am filled with infinite possibilities for good. As God answers my divine call, I express the greatness of my soul, my awakened power. I express the greatness of my soul, my awakened power. And so with that, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes for just a couple of minutes and just sit with these words of power, just gently breathing in and remaining open to the recognition of the awakening power of who you are. And allow yourself to enter into your stillness, breathing in slowly and gently. And we say, thank you, Father, Mother, God, infinite radiant intelligence, for your sacred presence in our lives, for revealing to us our inner strength and truth, love and divinity. May that which is sacred and holy truly touch into each of us today and bless all that we may take out into this world to meet as we make a positive difference wherever we are, empowering one another along the way with our love, our truth, our joy, our compassion, and our peace. We know it to be so, and so it is. Namaste. And just allow yourself to come back, opening your eyes, feeling refreshed and renewed.